everyone. I acknowledge that I'm hosting this online meeting in the lands of the Turrbal tribe, the traditional custodians of the Minjin region. I also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which we all meet today, and the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people participating in this meeting. We pay respect to those elders, both past and present. Good morning, everyone. My name is Carla Rada, and I work as a Community Engagement Officer at the LOAD Agency. Since joining the team, I've been lucky to collaborate with various clients and communities to effectively communicate important messages for our culturally and linguistically diverse audiences. Today, we are happy to announce the launch of the Small Acts Make a Big Impact campaign for our CALD communities across Victoria. The new campaign that is being delivered by Sustainability Victoria on behalf of the Victorian government will help make a big impact on the environment and Victoria's sustainable future. The launch campaign is supported by a stakeholder pack that contains materials such as social media tiles, videos, and posters in 10 languages that we encourage you to share with your communities and networks. The materials in the pack will help inform and inspire multicultural communities about simple ways they can reduce waste and recycle more to help our environment. We are honored today to be joined by Boy Tai, Deputy Chair for the Victorian Multicultural Commission. Boy is a spirited advocate for Multicultural Australia. He works to develop the capacity of multicultural communities with a focus on leadership, development, education, and employment outcomes. His involvement extends from working with individual communities to advocacy at the highest levels. Boy has held many leadership roles within Victoria's multicultural sector and has been widely recognized for his advocacy, community service, and professional achievements. This recognition includes the Victorian Multicultural Commission Emerging Leadership in Multiculturalism Award. As well today, we have joining us Kate Paulo, Director of Community Action at Sustainability Victoria. Kate is passionate about inspiring and empowering collective action to create a positive future for people and the natural world. With a focus on using behavioral science, community-based social marketing, and education to drive behavior change, Katie leads programs that support and empower communities to take action that reduce emissions and waste while building climate-resilient communities across Victoria. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today. Katie, please share with us the purpose of this campaign and why it's so important.
Thank you, Carla. I'll just share my screen. I've just got a couple of slides to help with that. So I hope you can all see that. I'll just put that up in screen view. Can everyone see that okay? Excellent. All right, well, thank you. And yes, I do want to acknowledge also that I'm coming to you today from the lands of the Wurundjeri people, and acknowledge and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I'm very excited to be with you today. We have a goal. We're working with the state government to help all Victorians feel that they can have the confidence to improve our waste and recycling system. And we know so many Victorians want to do the right thing. And so today I'm going to be introducing you to some materials that will help all our multicultural audiences to play a role in that as well. The idea behind the campaign, and the name of the campaign, I guess, says it all, is really to have people have the takeaway message that something you do at home every day, even if you feel like it's a small thing, actually can really make a big difference to how well our whole system is working. And the idea is we want a Victoria where we're preserving resources so that we've got a great future for ourselves and also our ongoing generations. So I'm really excited to be able to launch this with you today. Just a bit of background about specifically what we would like to work with you on. We know that our waste and resource or our recovery and recycling system can sometimes seem really complicated. All of you have a range of bins that you put out each week, and sometimes it varies across communities what can go into those different bins. So one of the things we're working with state government on is that we're going to make it much easier and more consistent about what goes into those bins. And what we're hoping to work with you and your communities on is giving you some really clear, consistent messages that will help you put the right things in the right bin, and also just to use some things in smaller quantities in the first place. So we're working towards some goals that we will eventually reduce the amount of waste that's occurring in Victoria. But the other goal is that also when we do have things we need to put into the bin, that they're put into the bin in a way that means we can actually, when they get to a recycling depot, be taken out in a way that they can be reused and turned into new products so that the materials that are in them have value for a long time. And so that's for things like food waste, but it's also for things like plastic and various materials like metals. Just to let you know also, before we've put this campaign together, we really want to make sure we're using good evidence about what we're focusing on and how we're going about sharing that message with communities. So there's a whole range of research we've done over the last few years, and also when we've had some campaigns before, we've made sure we've gone back and checked what worked, what didn't work, so that we can keep improving when we work on these sorts of campaigns. And in terms of the multicultural audience, you know, one of the key things we've understood is that we have to make sure we're tailoring our materials and our approaches so that they work with your different communities in an effective way. And we know one of the important things we've learned is having your assistance, for example, in some direct engagement. We know how important it is, not just to see advertising, but to have some real face-to-face opportunities to work with people that they feel confident that they can talk to about this approach. The idea behind the campaign, Small Acts Make a Big Impact, once again, it's really the idea that hopefully families and individuals in their homes, in their workplaces, can really feel like, oh, I'm inspired to do this. I can see that, yes, something that I know I'm part of is making a difference in the world. And going back to that research, one of the things we know is that our multicultural communities, they are really keen to help us do the right thing, but sometimes they're struggling to understand what is the right thing. So we're hoping the way we've put the creative concepts together, including making sure you can see they're action-based with hands, showing exactly what the right behaviour we want is, and that they're trying to represent a broad audience across Victoria. We hope that will help all the communities feel like this is relevant and important to them. The other thing in the materials when you see the pack today is you'll see there are some, a small number of particular behaviours we want to focus on in the first instance. And across the bottom of the screen there with some of the images you can see, there'll be things like, how do you put things in your recycling bin in the right way? You know, if it's a food container, it should be empty. Or there are some things we wouldn't want you to put in your recycling bin. There's an alternative place like batteries to be disposed of safely somewhere else. Or things like to reduce food waste. How can we encourage your communities to actually take a shopping list so that you're focused on not buying things that are not needed so that they're not wasted, or taking a reusable water bottle rather than buying plastic bottles. So they're the kinds of messages you'll see in the pack. In terms of the multicultural audience that we're very excited you're going to be able to help us with, I really want to highlight the wonderful partnership we've had with the LOTE agency to help us understand what's going to work and what kind of resources and materials are really going to help you. And so we've got the 10 languages that the materials are focused in. We know that as time goes on, we're going to be working on this campaign over the next 2 years, that there'll be other events and activities that will come up. So we'll keep you in, keep in contact with you so we can keep updating you. But really, we're looking forward now to working closely with you over the next few months on this particular campaign. And so I just want to say a big thank you to you for the involvement you're going to have in helping us make that a success. And we're just really excited to work with you. So thank you. I'll hand back to Carla and she'll be able to take you through the actual pack. Thank you. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much, Katie. That's so great. Just a reminder for everybody, if you have any questions, please drop them up in the questions and answers in the little chat area that you have on your Zoom. We'll be answering those later on. Okay, now we're going to go with Boy. I'm going to ask a question. Hopefully you can help us in this instance, but understand a little bit more of our multicultural audiences. You have worked closely with communities. How do you see this campaign having a great impact for our culturally and linguistically diverse communities, Boy?
Thank you, Carla. Firstly, I would like to also begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the country throughout Victoria and pay my respect to them, their culture, and their elders past, present. I'm joining you today from an unceded Wurundjeri land, and I extend my respect to any Aboriginal people joining us in this webinar today. We are grateful for the Aboriginal people who have been custodian of this land for over 60,000 years, and I'm proud to be joining you today to discuss its continued preservation. I think I'll just go ahead with my speech. Is that right, Carla?
Oh, no, yeah, it's all good.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So my name is Boite, and I'm the Deputy Chairperson of the Victorian Multicultural Commission, also known as the VMC. The VMC is a statutory body that advocates for and promotes cultural diversity in Victoria and across all levels of government. And I want to thank the Load Agency and the Sustainability Victoria for organizing today's online event to celebrate the launch of the Small Act, Make a Big Impact campaign. We at the VMC are proud to be involved in this initiative that addresses an issue that affects all of us and will have a significant impact on the next generation of Victorians. That issue is climate change and sustainability. Before I discuss the campaign, I'd like to share a bit about the VMC, what our role is, and how we support our multicultural communities in Victoria. The VMC was created almost 40 years ago, and our legislated role is to support, celebrate, and advocate for multicultural communities in Victoria. We advocate for multicultural communities in collaboration with our work with our Regional Advisory Council, our Multi-Faith Advisory Group, our Leadership in Action program, and our Multicultural Youth Network, which is currently open for expression of interest for the 2022 to 2024 term. So if you know any young person with a multicultural background who might be interested, please do encourage them to apply. In addition to collaborating with our community members, the VMC also put forward submissions to government and conduct research on multicultural communities. So how does this relate to sustainability, and more specifically this campaign? We know from the recent 2021 census that Victoria is home to 6.5 million people representing over 300 ancestries, and over 70% of Victorians identify with an ancestry other than Australian. People in multicultural communities make up a proud majority of the state. These communities will therefore play a very critical role in ensuring the success of this plan to create a circular economy. Many of you here today have a multicultural or migrant background, so you will know, as well as I do, that reusing what we have often comes very natural to us. We also have a greater stake in sustainability that goes beyond our families. We are all working together to preserve and take care of this place we are proud to call home. The reach of this campaign will no doubt be skillfully supported by the work of Load Agency, who are an expert in communicating to our multicultural communities. This is an important learning from the pandemic. What is perceived as a small act of tailoring communication for multicultural communities had a very big impact. And we are able to enjoy the freedom that we have now because of the impact of that communication. The VMC will continue to advocate for to be the norm to consider multicultural communities in all levels of government campaigns. We are excited to facilitate engagement with this campaign through our broad networks of multicultural community groups, leaders, and organizations. This includes playing our part in promoting this campaign to our networks so we can ensure that every Victorian can contribute and make a difference. So thank you for inviting me to this launch, and I'm keen to see the impact it will have on our communities around Victoria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Boy. We really appreciate you being here today and for the BMC and learning what you'll do for multicultural communities in Victoria. Okay, so now we're going to move ahead into the part where we actually show you what some parts of the campaign will involve. After this event, you will receive a small acts, make a big impact stakeholder pack. But first, let me share with you a few of its different sections. I think you can see those in the screen. It is important for Sustainability Victoria that you can understand the why behind this campaign. With this information, the goal is that Victorians are encouraged to choose one of the 5 acts that are presented in the pack. If you go to the campaign page on the Sustainability Victoria website, which is sustainability.vic.gov.au/small-acts-general, or the language that you would like to see, as you can see on the screen. You will be able to find the information and tips in all of these languages. Now, what can you find in this pack? Well, we have translated materials and resources into 10 different languages. Community members will be able to share the social media tiles or videos to educate and inspire individuals in their communities. Now, from this point, you'll be able to access 30-second videos translated into different languages and social media tiles for you and your community to share. Materials include social media, posters, media releases, and frequently asked questions about the campaign. We encourage you to share these. And as you can see, the pack is pretty simple to navigate. Boy, we would like to ask you a question about how do you see and understand this pack and how it can impact our multicultural communities?
Firstly, I want to thank Load Agency for having these documents, also Sustainability Victoria for having these materials translated in these languages. And I, for one, would like to also mention that if we could include other new and emerging communities as well in the translation in the future, we will be very grateful. I think through the pandemic, we learned that our communities are very supportive of one another, and the care that they show for one another is incredibly amazing. And I'm sure that this campaign will allow our communities to share this information across their communication channels. Every communities have different method of communication. And I have no doubt that it will have a great impact and great outcome in the future. I'm excited that we all can play a role in, preserving this land and also contributing towards a better future for the next generation.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Boy. We are receiving some of your questions. Please keep them coming. I will be answering them now. But before that, just to let you know, this campaign will also have community activations happening across Victoria in the coming months. So keep an eye out and come and say hello if you see a stall of Sustainability Victoria in your local area. We will probably be there. I would love to say hi to all of you and get to know you. All right, now we will open the space for some questions. If you have any, please keep sending them through. We have on the line as well, Justin Lichblau and Amanda Barbero from Sustainability Victoria, and they're gonna help us joining us and helping us answer those questions. One of the questions that we received, and I want to bring this out, and maybe Katie, you can help us with this one. The question says, will these resources be able to be customized for different councils? For example, some have glass recycling already, some don't, to avoid the confusion.
Thanks, Carla. Yes, we do have on the website a library with a whole range of materials. We call it the asset library, and all of those materials are able to be customized to whatever is currently working in that current council area. So plenty of options there that will cover all the different variations across Victoria.
Perfect, thank you. We are seeing a few more questions. Thank you for your questions. Please keep them coming. Another question is, and maybe Boy, you can help us with this one as well. How can people contribute to the campaign?
Thanks, Carla. I think it's a very straightforward. There are these resources which have been created. I highly and strongly encourage and recommend our communities to share it on their social media platforms, and also to their networks. We know that communities have different ways of communicating, and they could utilize their communication channels to share this information, and for all of us in our multicultural communities to play a small part towards a better future.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Like I mentioned to you before, in the stakeholder pack that you will be receiving after this event, you will see social media tiles. They're translated in language. Please share them, like Boy said, in social media and your Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, Instagram, anything else. The more people know about this, the more we can all make a difference. Okay, just another question that just came through as well, and this one probably for you, Katie. Could you please advise again, where is this located on the website, on Sustainability Victoria website?
Thanks, Carla. The Sustainability Victoria website is sustainability.vic.gov.au. In your pack that you'll receive today will be the specific link that you can use to get through to the stakeholder materials. So have a look in the pack. And I think Justin is also typing into the chat, so you've got a link there so you can see it visually on the screen as well.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much. I guess we'll just end up with this last question just due to time. But what are some other activities that will be developed during this campaign? What are some other things that we can expect of?
We're going to have a range of community activations. We know a really big important part in the multicultural community is people like to hear from people that they feel confident and connected to. So in your local area, look out for some events. What we'll be doing over the next couple of months is we'll make sure we're alerting you to events that are coming up in your area that will be targeted at your particular groups.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We do appreciate your time joining us today. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to us as well. Like we said, the stakeholder pack will be coming to you all soon. If you have any questions at all, please let us know. We are really excited to be working this project. We're excited because we know that everybody can make a difference. Thank you so much, Katie, for joining us. Thank you so much, Boy. We appreciate all that you do for the communities here in Victoria. And we'll let you go. Oh, sorry. We just have actually one more question, if you don't mind. I want to wrap this up, but we have more questions coming. So let me just answer this last question real quick. Who in your council do you notify of the community activations happening in your local council area? I think this is, let me just answer this one. I think it's part of Lowe's and our community engagement activities. We will notify you and we'll let you know. So either it would be part of our community engagement team here at the Load Agency. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We're really excited to be working with a lot of city councils and different multicultural organizations that are helping and passing this through. So any questions, please send them our way, but we will be in contact shortly. Again, thank you so much all for joining. We appreciate it. Hope you have a great Friday, and hoping to hear from all you soon and sharing all these amazing materials that work so hard to get. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.